Audio-Technica is a brand that has been around since the 60s with a big presence in professional studios making microphones, headphones, but it doesn't get as much respect as it deserves in the audiophile phono cartridge space. And this could possibly be because they do not make high-end turntables. The turntables they do make are considered mid-hi-fi at best. The company does have the technical capability in phono cartridges as it makes an innovative high-performance moving coil cartridge called the ART 1000 that has a retail MSRP of 5,000 USD, which was well reviewed by Audiophile back in 2017. This video is not about that cartridge, but rather will focus on the more affordably priced Audio-Technica AT-OC9 XSL model. This retails for 750 USD. So how does it fit in terms of sonic performance amongst the other cartridges priced in this range? There are actually 5 cartridges in the current OC9X series lineup. The least expensive being the OC9X EB, which costs 260 USD, and that has a bonded elliptical stylus. The XE9 model has a nude elliptical stylus costing 380 USD. Then there's the OC9 XML and the XSH with microline and Shibata costing 600 and 700 respectively. And finally, the OC9 we're talking about today is a special line contact stylus. It retails for 750 USD. This is a dual moving coil with pure copper by Ono continuous casting coils, abbreviated as PCOCC, which essentially is a manufacturing technique developed by Dr. Atsumi Ono used to produce high purity copper windings, which by minimizing impurities in copper increases electrical conductivity. The OC9 XSL comes with a special line contact stylus which is on a boron cantilever. The cartridge body is aluminum and, like most modern carts, has pre-threaded holes for easy mounting to a tone arm or a head shell with just screws, no nuts required. This certainly makes installation so easy, as most of us that do swap out cartridges often would agree. The point I'm trying to make here is that the combination of high purity copper coils, exotic line contact stylus on a boron cantilever, and an aluminum body are all features typically found on moving coils that cost considerably more, usually at or over the 1,000 USD price range. Some key specs to pay attention to. The output is 0.4 millivolts, so you will need a high quality phono stage capable of at least 56 to 60 dB gain. 100 ohms resistive loading recommended. The cartridge height is specified at 17.3 millimeters. So take note if your turntables do not provide VTA adjustments, like some Riga setups may need a spacer. The mass of the cartridge is 7.6 grams. The dynamic compliance of this cartridge is published at 18 CU, but unfortunately, like most Japanese cartridges, it's specified at 100 Hertz instead of 10 Hertz. But nonetheless, it worked really well both on my iTalk LV2 and my Riga RB3000 tone arms. Both have effective masses of 11 grams. Recommended vertical tracking force was 1.8 to 2.2. I used it with a VTF of 2.2 grams. And as usual, I cannot emphasize enough the care you need to take to set up the cartridge alignment to extract the best out of any phono cartridge. I used my Dr. Fikert protractor. So let's talk about sonic performance. I had originally purchased this cartridge for use on my secondary system, which is a restored LP12 with an iTalk LV2 tone arm. After discovering its potential, I moved the OC9 XSL to my main system. My main system consists of Riga Planar 10 turntable. I used a 2mm spacer with the OC9 XSL on this table. The phono stage is a Manley Chinook amplifiers and audio research VSI 60, and speakers are the 4Pi model from Pi Speakers with twin flanking SVS SB16 Ultra subwoofers. My first impression of this cartridge was that it was snappy, loads of dynamic contrast on display, but it was a very bright sound. And I began to sort of regret my purchase initially. But after playing records daily for about an hour or so, every day for say a week, the OC9's XSL's true performance began to emerge. Still snappy with appropriate transient attacks, but the brightness was gone and the instrument separation was really good. Some album examples. Led Zeppelin 1. This is not a fancy pressing, just an Atlantic SD 19126, so a reissue from 1984. Sells for about $30 used nowadays for a clean copy. On the song Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, the clarity and attack of the acoustic guitar strings when the song picks up is really good. The electric guitar sounds tonally just a shade lean but very nicely defined. Soundstage is deep and also well defined. Robert Plant's vocals are clearly reproduced and also nicely placed in the soundstage. Detail retrieval is quite good as well. The little echoes, the small voice layering and mixes in the backdrop of the stage are revealed clearly. On better pressings like this one called Rio by Florian Pelissier Quintet, the dynamics of the OC9 XSL was nicely showcased. Upright bass was detailed and very well defined and doesn't get boomy even at louder volumes. The piano has a grand scale and with a heavy dose of realism. Female vocals on the track between the bars sounds fantastic. A lot of realism and presence in the area of vocal performance. Switching to one of my favorite demo LPs is this drum solo on the album Emergency by the Count Buffaloes. The speed and the attack of the bass drum, the snare shots were spot on. So much drive and energy and dynamics on display here. The air and the transient attacks from the hi-hats and the cymbals sounded really good. A lot of fun to listen to this album using the AT-OC9 XSL cartridge. This cartridge will certainly not be out of place in a high-end turntable setup. But how does it compare to the likes of the Dynavector 10X5 or the 20X2L models? The 10X5 model costs $800 USD, so likely to be cross-shopped. The 10X5 brings more tonal color and flesh, if you will, in terms of density, tonal density. But I think this Audio-Technica is a little more dynamic sounding. The 10X5 is sweeter sounding in my setup. The Dynavector 20X2L costs significantly more at $1,250 USD, but at this higher price, you do get more dynamics, more attack, and more resolution from the 20X2L model. But the XSL, OC9 XSL is significantly lighter on your wallet and is no slouch in terms of detail and dynamics. So how about the Riga Anya at $900 USD? Listen, if you have a Riga P3, 6 or 8, the Anya is a no-brainer. It guarantees perfect compliance. The Anya and the OC9 XSL seem matched in terms of resolving details and dynamics. The Anya did seem a bit warmer and fuller sounding in the bass and mids than the OC9 XSL. Have any of you tried Audio-Technica's new AT33 series or the Art series? They look gorgeous in pictures, and my positive experience with this OC9 XSL has me curious on their higher end models. So if you own or have listened to them, drop your take on them in the comments below.